Okay, so I'm going to be going over my favorite parts of our digital one day lesson plan. Um, this was kind of hard because I couldn't really decide what my favorite part was. The entire thing was very challenging, um, but it was kind of interesting to see what we created at the end of it. I think as I kind of thought it over, I think engagement, everything in engagement and exploration was would be my favorite thing if we were actually teaching in the classroom. Um, the engagement, let me find it. There it is. Okay. The engagement, I started off the lesson by asking questions about, our plan was teaching about Abraham Lincoln and having students understand why his birthday is a commemorative holiday. So, asking questions about Abraham Lincoln, but kind of just diving right into a game. So it says Haley allows 3 minutes for a quick game where students can run to whoever's at home with them and they basically get to phone a friend, meaning students can ask a loved one if they can help them come up with one fact about Abraham Lincoln. Students come back to the camera, and the first 5 students back get to share their facts that they learned from their family members. Of course, if students were in person, this would have to be a little bit different because they don't have a family member to ask that is more knowledgeable about this. But I just thought this was a fun thing to do for like kinesthetic learners and stuff too, to just kind of like, or people that are just antsy in general, just to like kind of get out of the educational mood and like, oh yeah, let's play a game where we get to move and be active and whatever. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then all of our videos, we had a video originally that just taught about Abraham Lincoln until we replaced that with our 3 minute video where we read the story. And I thought it was just kind of fun to, read an Abraham Lincoln storybook, but from all of us co-teachers. I just thought that was a super good replacement. It was fun to do, and there's so much more that we could have done with it. And for the exploration, I like Sam's activity, my other co-teacher, where she did, it was a coloring book of Abraham Lincoln with words or whatever. And so this we didn't really get to, or we forgot to, or we failed to put in our actual recording of our digital one day lesson, but this is where we kind of got to highlight our culturally sustaining pedagogy because at this portion, students were able to read, but they were also, we have a lot of, in our hypothetical school, a lot of Spanish speakers. And so we were going to give students that spoke another language or Spanish the opportunity to read that in Spanish. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Or even to, because we do a picture walk, it says, Sam says, first we're going to do a picture walk. Let's go through the book and see what's on each page. Look at the cover and what do you see. Later, Michelle goes over it with them and asks the kids, after reading the story, to explain to them how they think that the picture is related to Abraham Lincoln. So that kind of gave, non-English speakers the opportunity to say something in their own native language. I thought that was just super cool. But the whole activity is just kind of fun. The other thing, which if this was a real lesson plan, it would have come into fruition and would have been amazing. But actually seeing the students do the quantifiable products, let's see if I can find it. This is a long document. Here we go, I'll go back up. Where we did the mind maps, the Google images, and the flashcards. I think that those 3 choices for kindergartners were just really fun. The Google images would have been the hardest, but if they're at home and they have someone's help, it, potentially could have been easier. But just seeing what they could have created and come up with would have been really fun. In our one day lesson, this was the more, or video that we recorded, this was the most rushed part because there was no way to really like demonstrate students doing that since we were not working with students. But if this was a real lesson, then I think that this would have been a really fun thing to watch students do, see what they come up with, get an idea of what they really took from the lesson, the facts that they learned and stuff. Yeah, so mainly all of it, minus 2 sections. I'm not like too fond of I think this is, yeah, elaboration. No, I'm sorry, it's not elaboration. It's this one. It's explanation. But everything else, it was very interesting to do.